I'm 680 News senior business editor Mike Eppel. Saw a couple of the big banks announce interest rate reductions in the mortgage market today, with the BMO and the CIBC offering some special mortgage rates, maybe trying to spur on some springtime real estate activity. Ratespy.ca is saying that the CIBC and the BMO have cut their rates from anywhere from 3 to 7 years. These are special fixed rates in the mortgage market, following what we've seen, the precipitous drop in bond yields, all on forecasts about a slowing Canadian economy, perhaps, and big banks set their mortgage rates based on what's going on in the bond market. Air Canada today announced it's adjusting its flight plans for the ongoing grounding of the 737 MAX aircraft. They seem to think that these planes are not going to be in the skies before July 1st at the earliest. They've adjusted the flight schedules going through to the end of May to start, basically keeping the leases on some planes that they were going to give back to be replaced by the 737 MAX, and adjusting some routes. Air Canada and others having to adapt to this short-term reality that Boeing continues to work toward getting a software fix for those 737 MAX planes. And then, of course, it's going to take another amount of time for the FAA to give approval and certification to get those planes back into service. Boeing says it's going to take at least another several weeks. We saw the price for oil today clear $62 per barrel, highest level of the year in the U.S. Same thing for the Canadian markets, where Western Canadian Select has all of a sudden rebounded to more than $53 per barrel. That price differential narrowing to less than $9 between the U.S. and Canadian benchmarks. At its worst last fall, it was more than $40 U.S. We have seen OPEC cutting production for 4 months in a row, and the Alberta government putting through the curtailment on oil production from Western Canada. All of this narrowing the price gap, giving a little bit of support to prices and maybe a little bit more profitability for the producers. Bitcoin saw a big jump today, a bounce of more than 20%. New York Times reporting that it was an unidentified buyer in the cryptocurrencies pouring lots of money into Bitcoin and others. Some say, however, it might come back to some April Fool's pranks on the internet that said on Monday Warren Buffett, the billionaire investor, was buying into the Bitcoin market. Berkshire Hathaway, the company that Buffett operates, denied that. Nevertheless, we've seen Bitcoin bounce back up from its significantly much lower prices earlier this year. Of course, its all-time record high was almost $20,000 just over a year ago. And Americans continue to play catch-up when it comes to banking technology. Wells Fargo announcing today that all of its new credit and debit cards will soon feature chip and tap-to-pay technology, something that the Canadian banks have had in place for what seems like years now. U.S. bank customers have been slow to adapt to chip technology, still needing to put into PINs, but this is a moneymaker for the big banks that have found that tap-to-pay leads to consumers actually spending more because of the ease of doing so, and this leads to more of a money-making opportunity for the financial companies. From the 680 Newsroom, I'm Mike Eppel for City News.